Chase Lee Hockey here, Blue Futon. This is going to be actually movie, I think, 2 of 4 for this weekend. Last night was one of them days. Today was Nickel Boys, and this has been out for quite some time. There's also just a lot of, I'm going to say arguments, but a lot of consensus on whether or not this is going to get a Best Picture nomination, because it missed PGA. It missed a lot of other just main awards it's supposed to win, like ASC, if not mistaken. But this is a quote-unquote true story about something that happened in Nickel Academy back in the day about, finding bodies and abusive relationship, sexual abuse overall. So, did I like this film? Honestly, not really. The problem with this, as a person going into a story that I knew nothing about. So when you see the poster for Nickel Boys, you just think it's kind of a story about 2 kids going through something horrendous in the South during, Jim Crow era. Okay, but then it's based on a true story. Then you read about how there's sexual abuse and, deaths over like 81 bodies per se. Yes, that is sprinkled throughout the story, but it's not like, doesn't give me information about what actually occurred at this academy. Yes, you have this POV point of view between the 2 students. Sometimes it is POV, sometimes it's third person, sometimes it decides not to be. So even though people say it's 100% POV, that's not true, because there's a lot of other scenes where it is not, especially the very end and things like that. So anyway, that's just a weird thingamabob. But as a person who's nothing about the Nickel Academy, I learned nothing. Yes, you add these glimpses of I wouldn't say crime scene photos, but things they dug up from the ground, sure. This identity of Elwood, sure. But I know there's a hot box on the top. I know there's a bad place in the back where it looks like whipping happens and things like that. Understandable. But, you see the horrors that occur, but you're not, getting a grasp of it. You're getting the surface level of things that might have occurred at this academy, because that's all I'm getting at, because they're taking crime scene photos of things like marbles. Oh, is that a belt buckle? Is this? And you're taking this other identity of Elwood, who was there. And there's this part in the bar that talks about flesh on the floor. I thought that was the most interesting yet boring piece. I know that sounds really awkward, but you're giving me details of what happened at the academy, but you're giving me in such a way where it's taking me out of the movie because of how it's filmed. I don't know. I don't understand the praise for this movie, because I prefer something like The Piano Lesson, even though it's kind of semi-fake about this piano haunting about, the Jim Crow era of Mississippi. I prefer that type of storytelling, and you're getting into the scene with the people. Here, I just felt disjointed. I felt like I wasn't part of this story. Even I know you're not supposed to be, but just also, I'm going to say it felt pretentious in some scenes, but it felt like the end of Babylon, how it's showing these weird clips from other movies that really have nothing to do with it. It felt like here as well with, showing scenes from The Challenger. I know what they're trying to say is there's things happening in the outside world that are they paying more attention to that rather than what's happening at the Nickel Academy? But then again, just overall, I'm not getting any Mr. Turner's character and the teacher and the boxing. It's just it's all surface level, and I just didn't get anything from this movie, unfortunately, except horrific things occurred. But I don't know. I'm not saying I want anything graphic, but I don't know. It's hard for me to explain, but it just felt very surface level. And as a person who knew nothing about it, I left the theater knowing it feels like almost less about it. Chase Hockey here, the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the Blue Futontopia. You Blue Futonians, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I don't care what to stay tomorrow, week from month. I'm here for every single freaking one of you. Again, am I not understanding this movie as a whole? To me, this is not a top 10 picture, though. Probably not 25 either. I needed more. I didn't get what I wanted, honestly.